you know the strip's all stirred up lately?
I hope you're doing well, friend.
It's good to see you. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you. They're mostly pretty nice. Poindexter showed me how to make fireworks. The rest kind of scares me sometimes, but I don't mind. He's had a hard life. Well, I was born on a farm out in California. Weren't much, just me, Ma and Pa, my 2 sisters, and about 40 acres of corn and Brahmin. We never came across problems, really, except for some lean years. Then I joined up and got shipped out here to New Vegas. Well, as it turns out, we had a string of bad harvests a few years back. Pa said he couldn't afford to feed all 3 of us. We were gonna starve. So it was my job to join the army, so my sisters could eat, so we wouldn't all be killed by raiders. I'm here for the good fight. Take care of my family, but it's been real hard. Suppose this is God's way of teaching me, you know? He works in mysterious ways. Everything happens for a reason. But I don't worry. I know I'll be fine. God will always be with me. Just like it says in the scripture. Psalm 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I ain't scared. I just don't like hurting folks is all. I'm not used to all of this. It's different. But I gotta learn. Oh, it's a fine place. The lake is real pretty, and we don't get bothered by them legion. Toodaloo.
Ah, shit. Here comes the fucking brown-noser. What do you want, Holmes? We don't talk too much, mostly. Poindexter's a smart-ass prick. Well, Hannaran's a big-ass pussy. He ain't good for shit in a fight. And Mags, well, how could I put this? She's cut out for something other than soldiering, you dig? Psh, whatever, man. It's not like I need any of them. I'll do just fine on my own. Ain't much to tell, really. Grew up out west, near the boneyard. You heard of it? Yeah, not many people have. Wasn't really a good place for kids to grow up, you know what I mean? I joined up to get out. I still got family back there, though. I miss them. What you want to know? Whole place used to be some rich bastard resort, way back before the war. Now the Rangers get the resort. And what do they give us, the grunts? We get to live in the tents. Fucking typical. Shit, man. That's a long story, man. You sure you want to hear it? Well, I used to roll with Motor Runner in the gang. That guy's got everything down to a system. Truth be told, it was actually kind of cool for a little while. I needed my fix, and my girl Tessa, she told me I could get the hookup. But then shit got real, man. Tessa was supposed to come back and bring us more, but she never came through. And she's just never been the same since then. See, nobody lasts long in the Fiends, man. It's not exactly a lot of happy endings. You either die by the chems or you die by the gun, you know? And one day I just said, fuck it. I packed up my shit and I went to Freeside. Once I was there, man, I knew I needed to get some caps, and shit was hard in the beginning, man. It was real fucking hard. I had to do a lot of shitty favors to get by. Shit, let me give you some free advice. Don't ever borrow money from the Omertas. Yeah. Anyway, then a recruiter comes by and talks to me about the NCR. He gives me the whole spiel. I thought about it for a while and I decided to go for it. I needed the caps, man. And well, here I am. See you soon.
Honored to speak with you, sir. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
Wow. The big celebrity down here with the common troopers. What can I do for you? I guess I wanted to make something of myself, you know? Be the best of the best. I wanted to be a ranger, but guess this is as close as I get. Easy. This is where they send all the fuck-ups and people they don't want. But hey, it's not like I'm bitter or anything. Yeah, I mean, no, they're okay people, but they don't care, you know? They don't have any ambition, no drive. They're slacking off, and that reflects badly on me. Please. Camp Golf is where they shuffle off anybody they don't want anymore. Assignment here is a career ender. Not much to tell, really. I grew up in New Reno, joined up, took my shot at being a ranger, didn't make it, so I'm stuck with this crew of jokers. Gee, I don't know. Maybe because I'm saddled with the worst damn unit in the NCR Army. Think that might have something to do with it? Sure. See you around.
You know, if you were serving, you'd probably be halfway to general by now.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that. You should talk to Chief Hanlon if you have any questions. He's usually up on the balcony.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
Oh, hell. What is it now? I've been here since the first push into Vegas. Back in the day, this camp was the hotspot for conflicts with the Legion, Raider tribes, you name it. These days, I spend most of my time trying to beat a little discipline into the soldiers under my command. I've gotten soft with no action. Yeah, well, somebody has to wrangle those washouts and losers. Somebody's got to turn them into a real fighting force. Man, it's my life. I joined up when I was 16. I don't know how to do anything else. Yeah, well, I didn't want to get promoted out of the field. I didn't join up to drive a desk. Disappointed. We call them the misfits for a reason. They're undisciplined, lazy, and they have absolutely no esprit de corps. The squad leader's got some promise, kid named Mags. But as for the rest, I don't see much hope. I'm going to make them shape up if it kills me, though. Or them, for that matter. You're welcome to try. Hell, maybe they'll listen to somebody they don't see as an authority figure. Yeah, whatever.
I'm assuming you aren't associated with the Army or the Rangers. What can I do for you? That seems highly illogical. What reason would he have for doing that? Well, this is an unexpected variable. I had hoped to coast on an easy wave of mediocrity to a cushy government pension. And how would you propose accomplishing such a goal? An intriguing proposition. Company readiness reports are logged on the computer systems at the resort. If you hack the system, you could alter our records. Such an attempt, however, is likely to thwart efforts to motivate the squad to do actual work. If such is your goal, you should look elsewhere. As you wish. I'm sure the optimal solution will become apparent to you in time. In a strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base, I feel it's safe to say the soldiers here look up to me. I suppose if you must stick with your narrow, parochial view of in charge, then yes, it's a no. Are we done? To what purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say, I'm a certified genius, and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need. It's a simple idea. The Army offers fiscal security and generous benefits at the cost of substantial personal risk, if you're on the front line. If you perform too poorly, they'll scrub you out. Perform too well, and you get sent to the front lines. All I have to do is ride that mediocrity gradient to a cushy, do-nothing job miles away from the war. I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
Honored to speak with you, sir.
Ah, shit. Here comes the fucking brown-noser. What do you want, Holmes? Yo, I'll tell you what this squad needs. We need some balls, that's it. A little bit of courage, you know what I mean? And I know exactly what we need to make that better. Trust me on this. I got the exact stuff that'll get this team in check. Psycho, man. The big red one. See, I used to roll with the fiends, and I still got the hookups. Now, you smuggle some of that shit in, you'll see an improvement. Yeah, whatever. See you soon.
It's good to see you. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you. To me, well, I'll tell you what I think this squad needs. A little more basic human kindness. That's right. Folks just don't talk to other folks. And everyone's always, well, people don't get along here. I've been praying that we can all get along. It'd be real nice, but if they knew the idea came from me, they probably wouldn't take you seriously. Best if they didn't know. I hope you convince them, though. That'd be real nice. Okay. Toodaloo.
You've managed to become extraordinarily well-liked by the top brass. You should exploit that for your own gain wherever possible. To what you're trying to appeal to my ego. I must admit it's an effective tactic. All right, I'll help. But only because I want to see if it's even possible. I somehow...
Wow. The big... You really think so? Hell, I guess it's worth a shot. Sure, see...
We won't go quietly.
Ah, Shit, man. Maybe you're right. I guess I ought to give him a shot.
It's good to see you. The squad is working together a lot better now. I think we're gonna be just fine. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. I know none of this would have been possible without the grace of Jesus. Toodaloo.
The squad really seems to be working Wow. The big... Wow. The big...
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
You know, I thought all that touchy-feely teamwork bullshit
Patrolling the
was just kind
Mojave
of
almost
lame, you
makes
know?
you wish for a nuclear winter.
But you know what, man? It does feel good knowing the squad's got my back.
Well, their test scores are only marginally improved, but I'm hearing good things about the Misfits' teamwork. I've mostly drilled the troops, try to keep the discipline up and combat readiness high. It's not the easiest job in the world. Soldiers without a mission get bored very easily. Still, with the Legion just across the river, we have to be ready. Yeah, whatever.
Wow. The big... He did, huh? Well, if you ask me, what we really need is to get this whole squad out on the practice range. Shape up our marksmanship and explosive skill. I'm sure the others have their own ideas, though. Are you sure? I've got enough clout to get them started, but these guys are pretty lazy. I doubt they'll want to be pulled in different directions. You're the boss. You know, if you were serving, you'd probably be halfway to general by now. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Okay, everybody's lined up and ready to go. Any suggestions? You heard the man, people. Get focused. I've got the one at 11 o'clock. Raz, O'Hanrahan, take the two on the right. Poindexter, the center. Right. Exhale, squeeze. Focus on the shot. Thanks for the help. I think the whole unit's doing a lot better now. Wow. The big... It helped, but we still got a grenade range inspection to pass. After the help you gave us at the shooting range, we'll take any advice you've got. I'll line them up. Okay, we've got our dummy grenades and the course is live. We're all set. Right, easy enough. 1, 2, 3. Solid arc. Check. Lob them up and over, people. Hold the grenades for groups, squad. Hit them in clusters and send them running. Yeah, I do. Thanks. I think we might survive this now. Wow. Thanks to you, I think we're in good shape. The squad seems to be functioning much better as a unit now. Hey.
I gotta admit, I'm impressed. The Misfits are drilling better than I ever expected.
Glad to see you. Need a patch job?
Sir?
Get him, boss. I knew that fits with us.
Hard to believe this place used to be a luxury resort, huh? You ever think about being a ranger? Hello. Don't tell the troopers, but the grub here is way better than the mess. Hello. We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that. Hello.
You got my respect.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Hello.
monitor ranger activity all through the region with the systems here.
Hey.
Hey, don't tell the troopers, but the grub here is way better than the mess tent.
Those cons got the hint. We've shown everyone that these are our territories.
Don't tell the troopers, but the grub here is way better than the mess tent. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Hello.
Back west, you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, the San Luis. Drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. It's a different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now, looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs. The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up, but it sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now, what can I do for you? I didn't realize you were in such a hurry. I get so used to sitting in this chair and listening to radio reports, sometimes I forget people are getting ready for war out there. Shoot. Folks around here call me the chief, but handling's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well, but I try to lend a hand. Mostly administrative work, helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water. It's a simple system when it works. Patrol rangers radio intel to ranger stations. Comm rangers send the intel up the station chain until it reaches Camp Gulf. Then I or one of the other rangers on duty organize the data, evaluate it, and send information to camps or troopers in the field. Comm rangers might have an incomplete picture of the situation. There's a lot going on out there. Intel needs to be coordinated through Gulf so we can verify and advise appropriately. Troopers have enough to deal with. We don't want them questioning their intel. Shoot. The best of the best, worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse. Like a lot of the followers, he went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be, except with books and medicine instead of guns. Out to the Grand Canyon. He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest. Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe. Showed them how to use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not. He became Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. And that's where Graham stayed until Hoover Dam. Losing the dam was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered. Graham had been with Caesar since the beginning, but he had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went. It's not that clear-cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man. Yes and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only tribe in the Legion is the Legion. Caesar is their chief, father, and God, all rolled into one. Shoot. Even Caesar knows that General Oliver's coming back to Hoover. Colonel Moore's doing a fine job of running things over at the dam. In her own way, of course, when she's not trying to wrangle my Rangers into helping her. But just keeping that dam secure and operational day to day is enough work for one person. Never mind building a defense against the Legion. Oh, well, now you'll have to excuse me. The General and I don't always see eye to eye on things. Maybe it's best that I just say he's a trooper, through and through. The man will not give up an inch for anything, least of all to the Legion. The Colonel's an effective commander, one of the best. But she sharpened her claws on the Vipers and the old Jackals. Did 4 tours against the Brotherhood, too. She used to be a ranger until an injury took her out of action. Happens to a lot of us, unfortunately. She's better at making graves than making friends. Bring in Moore and the earth will be raised. Fields will be salted. No, and thanks to General Oliver for that. Colonel Shue is at McCarran. Most of the new Vegas troopers are under his command. He's more sympathetic to the locals than Moore, but he's got the fiends to deal with. Shoot. Intel says the legate's coming, Lanius. They call him the Monster of the East. If he's half as bad as Graham was, we're in for a heck of a fight. With Caesar and a new legate here, the Legion's not going to fall for the same old bag of tricks. Oh, the usual reasons. People say he's enormous, carries a big sword, chops people's heads off. That's not what makes him a good commander, though. Folks say he came from a heck of a tough tribe. Took Caesar a long time to conquer. It was thanks to Lanius. But once Caesar broke him, he was born again. He'll go anywhere and do anything to win. Legion says he could smell weakness. Once he finds out where an army's vulnerable, he'll go to it like a dog for the throat. He was a missionary from Utah who hooked up with Caesar at the Grand Canyon, became his translator. Graham helped Caesar with the Blackfoots after they got captured together. Up until Hoover Dam, he was Caesar's legate. You wouldn't think a man of God could turn so brutal, cruel to his opponents. Did the sort of things that makes you sick to talk about. He wasn't a brilliant strategist. Wasn't tactically flexible either. There was something about him, though. Menace. Indestructibility. He made everyone afraid of him. Heck, the Praetorians burned Graham 4 years ago, and some of the tribes are still afraid of him. They say the burned man still walks the land, blackens the earth wherever he sets foot. Shoot. I could tell you a lot if you had the time, but at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know? Suppose it depends on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger rangers. It's kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail. Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well. There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with .308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. And these bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit. They had planted an NCR flag over the well, and they would not budge until every last one of them was laid out dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it. I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 rangers on the way out. 10 rangers, 5 men with .308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times, but it worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good. In big battles, Caesar deploys his legionaries in waves. Recruits up front, prime soldiers behind the recruits, old guard bringing up the rear. Opponents wear themselves out dealing with the first 2 waves, if they survive that long. When the veterans step up, there's not much fight left. Caesar can adapt, though, and when required, he can run any mix of legionaries as skirmishers and still retain order in the ranks. Joshua Graham, Caesar's old legate, he wasn't so flexible. When the Legion attacked Hoover Dam, General Oliver ordered his troopers back to the middle ground just after first contact. Graham pushed all of the legionaries onto the dam, filling the east side with recruits up front and veterans in the back, by the book. But once they were in, they were stuck there. Oliver's troopers were entrenched and wouldn't give a foot. That's when we ordered the Rangers and the 1st Recon sharpshooters to start picking off veteran Legion officers from a high ridge west of the dam. That only lasted about a minute before Graham ordered the back ranks to push through to the front and rush the ridge. Caused total chaos among the younger legionaries. Oliver's troopers fell back to the side walkways and stayed out of the veterans' way. By the time the veterans got to the ridge, we were already in Boulder City. They followed us down there, but we were out before they realized what was happening. We had packed the old city with C4 and dynamite. crude, but it did the job. Those who didn't die in the blast were in no position to mount a defense. The ones left on the dam didn't know what to do. The troopers routed them. Graham pulled the remaining legionaries back, but the battle was over. He went south, back to the Grand Canyon, back to Caesar. And that was the last we saw or heard from Joshua Graham. Shoot. Adios. You've come back to see the chief. Nice of you to humor the radio tender. What can I do for you? Adios.
What can I do for you, boss? Sure, boss. I was born just out. Old enough to know better, boss. Old enough to know better. Well, boss, when a giant, insane super mutant asks you to stay put, it's stupid, boss. I used to listen to the radio broadcast, just to pass the time. Well, one day the signal stopped, so I figured I'd try. Sure, boss.
We can monitor Ranger activity.